Breaking news at 6 as Dame time runs out in Rip City. The blockbuster three-team trade that's sending Damian Lillard east, and the building blocks headed to the Blazers.
He went to a team that I don't hate, and so I can keep wearing all the gear that I have with his face on it.
Reaction to the big news fans were sure was coming, and why the move still caught some by surprise.
I don't know, like without Dame, it's going to be very difficult.
With an impact that stretched far beyond the court.
I want to be remembered for the person that I am.
A storied talent and a hopeful franchise, both about to enter a new chapter.
Good evening, everyone. We continue our coverage of this breaking news with longtime Blazers star and Portland favorite Damian Lillard, now headed to the Milwaukee Bucks. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm David Molko. After months of uncertainty, the deal is essentially done. The dominoes about to fall. And who better to put today's headlines and those that follow into perspective than our Orlando Sanchez. Orlando, I mean, bittersweet, but also, wow.
Yeah, I think everybody was sitting there like, wait, is this really happening? And this was the NBA's biggest story of the offseason, nearly 3 months in the making, and still many Trailblazers fans were in shock. Not because Damian Lillard was traded, but where he was traded and what teams were involved. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, the first to report the blockbuster deal. Damian Lillard traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. This comes as a surprise because Lillard's desired destination was Miami, ever since his trade request went public back in July. Through all the national reports, the rumors, the speculation, most did not mention the Milwaukee Bucks as Lillard's landing spot. For many, this comes out of nowhere. So here are the details of the trade. It involves three teams. Portland gets all-star Drew Holiday, who ESPN says is likely to be traded. The Blazers also get Suns center DeAndre Ayton, the Bucks' 2029 first-round pick, and a couple of pick swaps, as well as a young rookie. The Blazers also say goodbye to Yusuf Nurkic, Nasir Little, and Keon Johnson, sending them to Phoenix. In a tweet from Damian Lillard, he wrote, "The casuals won't be addressed, but Trailblazers fans and the city of Portland that I love truly will be, and will be addressed truthfully." Stay tuned. Excited for the next chapter with the Bucks. The lasting impact that Lillard made in Rip City makes him one of the greatest to ever play here. But it's what he did off the court that separates him from other Blazers legends.
9/10 left.
Moments that will live forever.
It's Lillard. He got the shot off. Lillard, good!
Portland's point guard. 11 seasons of memories. Damian Lillard captured the imagination of so many. When the game was on the line, it was Dame time.
Lillard with 47 tonight. Working it down to 2-1. A deep three. Oh! Blazers win the series, a walk-off three from Lillard.
Widely considered the greatest Trailblazer of all time, and it goes beyond basketball. It's how he embraced this city like no other star before him. Connected with the community, pulling up to a park with a U-Haul filled with sneakers to give away to kids. His Respect program, uplifting students at Portland area high schools, to leading thousands across the Morrison Bridge marching against racial injustice. And those were just some of the stories that were public. There's a long list of accolades, from the franchise's all-time leading scorer, 71 points in a single game, Olympic gold medalist, and member of the NBA's 75th anniversary team. But there's one thing left to accomplish, and it's bittersweet for Lillard. Dashed dreams of leading a parade down Broadway, he joins a contender and a real shot at a championship.
Most of the national media are giving it positive reviews in terms of the trade. But at the end of the day, it's still bittersweet for Damian Lillard, who gets to play with a championship level team alongside an MVP caliber player. But winning a championship in Portland and having that parade come down Broadway, cruising by El Gaucho, is something that he wanted so bad.
A moment he wished he could have had and that we couldn't really give to him, that the team really couldn't give to him. You know that, though? I was just thinking, he embraced us, we embraced him. He's moving on, but that's going to last for decades, if not longer.
Nicely
right?
put.
Thank you, Orlando. You know what? At the end of the day, it also comes down to all of you, the fans who cheered Dame and Rip City on game after game, win or lose, right? High or low, as we're talking about. Many knew this day was coming. It still turns the page on a chapter, or you might say, opens an entirely new book. Ashley Grams has been hearing from so-called Rip citizens all over town. Ashley, I mean, so much to look back on, so much to look forward to. What's the mood out there right now?
Right, we talked to fans, and after 3 months of drama and waiting, this goodbye was one that was expected, but it's still sad, especially for those die-hard fans that watch Dame bring something really special to the Rose City. I mean, Lillard, arguably the best player in Blazer history, but beyond that, he was a fixture in our community, even outside of basketball. Despite the disappointment, most fans are looking ahead at what's next.
I'll cheer for him on the Bucks for sure, but him and Giannis are going to be pretty scary.
Actually, compared to the Heat trade, I would say that this is definitely a step up. I hope that we flip Drew Holiday, even though he's a good player, but he just doesn't fit our timeline.
Once you have like a star like Dame leave, it doesn't matter what pieces you get. It's not going to be the same.
So there's still a lot of uncertainty there. You heard that one fan talking about Drew Holiday. He might be the next one to leave. So, of course, we'll keep our eye on that. But even with a really young team, all of these fans still very optimistic about what the Blazers can do this season. David?
Ashley Grabs in front of the iconic sign that is not going anywhere outside of Moda. As you might imagine, there is plenty of reaction to the trade on social media. Some fans really doing their best to cope here, including Ashton Butuso, who wrote, "When he requested the trade, I was trying not to cry in a salon chair. And now the deal is official, and I'm trying not to cry again, this time on a Zoom call." A common theme here, fans grateful for a decade of Dame time, including Blazers superfan Ian Carmel, who wrote, "Dame is responsible for the most fun I've ever had as a sports fan. My favorite Blazer of all time. You only get a few of these guys in your lifetime, and I'm really happy I was around for him." Thanks for that. And then there was this from TCB Biggs. "The fact that the day came that Dame is traded and I am relieved and happy and laughing my butt off is the bow on the gift. That was the Lillard era." That's TCB Biggs, excuse me there. And finally, well wishes for what is ahead. Devo Whipsit wrote it, "Oh so simple. Appreciate everything you have done for Portland. GL, good luck in Milwaukee." By the way, the Bucks come to town on January 31st, and tickets for Dame's return are already soaring. Right now, $117. The cheapest seat in the house. We're probably a little late here. Stay with KGW for continuing coverage of Damian Lillard's departure and the future of Rip City. Right now on KGW.com, you can watch Dame's best Blazer moments. We are also tracking reaction and trade grades for all the teams involved as we look forward toward the next step. That's training camp, and that starts next week. All that and much more at KGW.com and on the KGW app. All right, we are following another significant story this evening and the tragic death of a teenager who appears to be the latest young person to fall victim to the fentanyl crisis. The 15-year-old student at Portland's Jefferson High died on Sunday, according to school officials, and police confirmed this evening they are investigating her death as a suspected fentanyl overdose. Investigative reporter Evan Watson is in the newsroom. Evan, another high school sophomore, another life lost. What are you learning?
David, this is a tragedy that's affecting the entire Jefferson community. Portland police say the 15-year-old girl was admitted to a hospital last Tuesday in critical condition. I talked with parents who want more information so they can talk openly with their children about this threat of fentanyl. In a message to families, Jefferson High School principal Drake Shelton shared that a sophomore student died on Sunday. Shelton wrote that she was a bright light to everyone who knew her, and her passing will leave an indelible mark on her family and the Jeff community. The message offered counseling support to students but did not say anything about how she died. Meanwhile, Portland police confirmed with KGW that they are investigating the incident as a suspected fentanyl overdose. When investigators went to the hospital last week, they say the teenager was in critical condition and they were unable to talk with her. Sadly, the student's death is just the latest of similar stories KGW has reported on previously. Last year, I talked with Marsha Malsom, a fentanyl awareness advocate whose nephew died from an overdose. She explained why she believes it's crucial for people to talk openly about cases like this one.
we aren't going to just ignore it or say sweep it under the rug, because that won't stop it. We have to get out there and really talk to people about this.
Jefferson High School students wore blue this week in the 15-year-old girl's honor. Other details are limited right now as police are still investigating. However, Portland police plan to share more information about recent youth fentanyl overdoses tomorrow. We'll of course have the latest updates there on KGW. David.
Yes, so important that we keep talking about this and save lives. Thanks so much, Evan. Appreciate your reporting.
Hey everybody, it's been a wet run through the week, right? But look at the blue sky we're getting out at Astoria right now. Things shaping up a little bit, and the showers will continue, but there will be breaks. Look at Timberline right now. It is socked in, just barely above freezing. There will be new snow when the clouds part and the mountain reveals itself later on this week. We'll see some white up there. Right now, showers south of downtown Portland up towards the Cascades. There's more over the coast rain, so we're not quite done with the showers yet, but we're on the backside of the wettest part of this weather pattern that has been very soggy all week long. It'll clear in time for us to see the full harvest moon on Friday night. That's a super moon. More on that for you later. So the headlines, more showers right on through tomorrow. We'll begin to dry it out on Friday. Should be clearing out Friday night for that full moon. And the weekend still looks sunny and warm. In fact, it might get even warmer later next week. More on that, David, in a bit. Back to you.
Thank you, Matt. Let's get to your headlines this evening now, beginning in Hillsborough, where police are warning people to be on the lookout for a man suspected in a recent home invasion and sexual assault. This was back on the night of August 19th near the Quatama Woods Apartments. Authorities say the suspect was wearing a gray snapback hat, a long-sleeved orange shirt, tan work pants, and work boots. Authorities add the suspect is in his 40s, 5'7", 200 pounds, and had a dark gray scruffy beard at the time. Anyone with information is urged to contact Hillsborough Police. Well, the details of this next story are disturbing. In Salem, 2 former students are seeking $10 million in damages from the Salem-Keizer School District, claiming the district did not protect them as they were sexually assaulted by a choir teacher at McNary High School. In a lawsuit filed today, the 2 former students say the teacher, Josh Rist or Reist, groomed and abused them over a 5-year period from 2015 to 2020. They say the district hired that teacher despite a history of complaints at a previous school. In response to complaints about the teacher in 2021, Salem-Keizer referred him to state licensing officials and placed him on 3 years probation, but did not revoke his credential. He's reportedly teaching in an elementary school in the district. Again, we have reached out to that teacher and the school district for a response and have not yet heard back. We'll have much more on this tonight coming up at 11. In Southwest Washington, more than 1,000 Peace Health workers could be the next to call for a strike. We're talking about this a lot lately. The union representing tech service and maintenance workers and lab professionals at Peace Health St. John Longview and Southwest Medical Center in Vancouver says negotiations have broken down. They are seeking higher pay and increased staffing levels. Members begin voting on whether to authorize a strike next Monday. And Washington County Sheriff Pat Garrett has announced he is stepping down. Garrett says he will be retiring at the end of November due to, quote, changing family obligations. Garrett's been in law enforcement for 35 years, including the last 12 as sheriff. The position is up for election in November of next year.